Hey everyone, this is Shantibi and today we will paint these gorgeous rose together in watercolor. So first, let's look at some of materials I will use in this tutorial. For this project, because we will use a lot of water, I recommend you to use some 100% cotton paper. I use HS compressed paper in A4 size. Actually, I bought a very large paper, I think A1, and I cut it into smaller parts. For other materials such as paints, I think you can use whatever you have. I have a very bad habit of trying different kinds of paints. For example, in my box I have Daniel Smith and Selenium and even some homemade. I think that's not good. In the future, I think I will be a loyalty with Daniel Smith. So I have created an outline so that you can download in the description below, and because the outline is very strong, now I erase it so to let it become more invisible. I often don't create such strong outline, but because I want to take a picture and upload it for you guys, so this time is exception. So the first step after cleaning the outline is using some masking fluid. I use masking fluid to prepare to paint water drops later. This is homemade masking fluid, and you can see I use a water brush. I got this water brush from when I bought paint from Sakura Koi, and I think this kind of brush is very suitable to paint masking fluid because I won't ruin them after painting like that. And you can see I don't paint the dewdrop by hand because it is very difficult to create a perfect rounded circle by our hand, and by this kind of technique method we will create the distribution of dewdrops like they fall from the sky. So after the masking fluid dry, we can use our hands to remove some articles that we don't like, because we will paint dewdrops later. So I don't want to. It's very difficult to paint on very small drops, so I remove some of them myself. So let's get started with painting the petals of the flower. You can see I first wet the petal by clean watercolor, then I mix the rose and the orange So we have the rose orange color, and I mix this color, the rose color, into one petal, and also the orange, so that in this petal we have 3 colors in it. You can see, because I am beginner myself, so I need to turn the paper around in order to paint other petals more easier, and I don't want to place my hands onto the wet paper, so I just move the paper around. I think it's fine to do that. Let's continue. We just repeat the same pattern for the same petals. For the reference photos, actually I refer to a photo of a rose over the internet. I think it is from Paint a Royal Free image, but I invented many details myself, so you cannot find any flower that looks exactly like this painting. For example, in the original photo, the rose doesn't have any raindrops, but I think have raindrops on the petals, makes them more romantic. So let's introduce a little bit about myself. I am from Vietnam, and when I was a child, I spent a lot of time painting. At that time, I used mostly pencil and or markers. However, when I grew up at high school, I chose a university and a career path, which is not relevant to this hobby. So I almost forgot this habit until recently. Just about 1 month and a half, I went to a bookstore and I picked up a very cheap watercolor, and I tried to paint a tulip at home, and I found passionate. Then I decided to learn more about watercolor. So far, I haven't gone to any offline class. I almost study online. I subscribe to animation and visual school, and I think I have learned a lot from those teachers about painting flowers. Currently, most of my paintings is about flowers because this is my most favorite topic. At this moment, I don't have to go to work. I stay at home because next 2 months I will go to the UK to study an MBA, a master degree. I will study at London Business School. So if there's anyone in London, we may meet offline soon. I hope so. For this, for the flower petals, you don't need to copy me exactly. I think just mix rose orange and orange in each petals is enough. And you can see from my painting, the center of the flower is more orange, and the outer of the flower are more pink. So, and this is only the first layer, so you don't have to worry too much about the white color. However, you should use the paint a little bit watery, so that you can paint thicker layer, and you can add more colors later. You can see I have almost done with the first layer of the petals of this flower. For the center, you see I have to to make the paper near my eyes, because I'm a little bit short-sighted, so it's very difficult for me to paint such small details in distance. So for this, forgive me to lift up the paper a little bit so that I can paint it easier. can see I am creating the second layers, the second or the third layers of the petal, and I make them darker from inside the flower. The center of the flower is darker and the outside of the petal is lighter, and you can see my technique to make the gradient transition of color in the petal. The process is a little bit repetitive, so I speed up the video a little bit. So when we almost done with the coloring of the petal, we will start to draw the vein in the flower. And for this process, I use a regular brush. From my experience, this kind of brush is very convenient to draw this kind of fine line, because you can use very small rounded brush, but they cannot hold a lot of water, so we have to try very hard in order to paint this kind of fine line. So for color, you don't have to be picky here. Just orange or rose. You can paint orange on rose petal, and you can paint rose line on orange petals. It will be no big problem. So just enjoy with the project. So let's get started with painting the leaves. It just use a kind of very light green. In my case, I am mixing cereal yellow and sap green in order to create this watery green, and we paint over on leaf. You don't have to try to become precise because this is the first layer, and we will paint darker layers later. And I want to express that the leaves is merging into the background, so you don't have to paint exactly according to the outline pencil. Just paint very loose, because we have to spend a lot of time to create the flower in a very detailed way. So for the leaves and the buds, just become a little bit looser, and you can paint freely without worrying too much about how precise you are. After painting the first layer upon the leaves, I will mix some color to paint the background of this painting. And let's see. You see, I am using paint gray. This is paint gray from Cereal, and I mix with the violet from Daniel Smith. And let me introduce you the technique to paint the background first, because many people ask me how to paint this type of background, and people think that I am using salt. Actually, I have never used salt in my painting, because I went to some art stores and I asked about salt, but they just don't sell. So first we create the white background of the color, and we use some clean water to splatter over it to create this kind of effect. So okay, let's go back to the background of our main painting. I am using a mop brush from Home Ink to paint the background. I think I invested about $20 to buy this brush. Well, I think you should buy a mop brush yourself, because this kind of brush is very suitable to paint this kind of background. Before buying this brush, I try to use my small rounded brush to paint background, and it was a little bit very hard. And I would like to tell you that I'm not an English native speaker, so my English is not perfect. However, I asked people in some groups, and they told me that my English is fine and they prefer voice tutorials. So I decided to voice this video clip, even though my English is not perfect. From my experience, I learned watercolor painting mostly from video tutorials, and there are many great artists, but they just put clips with the voice, so it is very hard for me to paint follow, because I don't understand the artist's mind. because we have tried our best to paint the flower in a very detailed way. So for the leaves and the buds, I think just become looser and be more free in the painting like I am doing. This kind of contradiction will create more depth for our painting. For leaves, you see, I do not don't create outline for the vein of the leaves beforehand. I just paint them freehand like this way, because as I have said, for the leaves and for the buds of this picture of this painting, we don't have to paint them precisely. I often paint the vein in the leaves in a lighter color instead of darker color, because from my feeling, it is more natural that way. making some adjustments on the petals of the main flower. Before moving to painting the dewdrops on the flower, let me explain my method to paint dewdrops separately for you easy to see. I first create some white circle in the red pink background. We have done this part using a masking fluid from the beginning of this painting. After that, we will create some shadow. You can see I am using this color is a poster color from Sakura. You can use white gold for that. Actually, I cannot buy white gold in my location, so I have to use poster color. But I think the effect is the same. Unfortunately, I pressed wrong button to record me to paint the first several dewdrops. But I think no problem. If you master the method I mentioned before, I think painting water drops is not a difficult task. So At this moment, I'm using white poster color to finalize the water drop. You can see I am painting some dewdrop from the beginning. So I think you can still see how I am doing. This water drop is I forgot to paint it before, so now I need to paint again. And now using some white poster color. You see, I have to leave the paper near my eye to paint with this kind of detail because I am short-sighted. Thank you very much for watching this, and I hope you can paint very beautiful flowers, and please comment for your suggestion for future tutorials.